Welcome to the Slow Dance of Fireflies, a tranquil slice of life audiobook designed to gently guide you towards a restful sleep. If you're finding this story soothing and would like to hear more calming narratives, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Before we immerse ourselves in the quiet beauty of the Whispering Meadow with Arden, we'll begin with a short breathing exercise to help you unwind. If you'd prefer to skip straight to the story, you can find the timestamps for each chapter in the description below. Find a comfortable position, allowing your body to relax and settle. Perhaps you're lying down, feeling the gentle support of your bed, or maybe you're sitting in a cozy chair. Let your muscles soften, releasing any tension you might be holding. Allow the images of a warm summer evening, the scent of honeysuckle, and the soft glow of fireflies to begin to fill your mind, creating a peaceful space for relaxation. Now let's take a slow, calming breath together. Gently inhale through your nose, noticing the air as it enters your body, filling your lungs. Then exhale slowly through your mouth like a gentle sigh. With each breath, imagine the quiet stillness of the meadow seeping into you, calming your mind and body. Visualize the gentle swaying of the tall grasses, the soft rhythmic flickering of the fireflies, and the vast, peaceful night sky above. If thoughts drift into your mind, simply acknowledge them without judgment and gently guide your attention back to your breath or the sound of my voice. There's nothing else you need to do but relax and allow the story to unfold. Feel the gentle rhythm of the evening, the slow and peaceful transition from dusk to night. Let this rhythm carry you towards a state of deep relaxation and prepare you for a restful sleep. Now let's join Arden in a Whispering Meadow as the fireflies begin their magical dance. Chapter 1. The Gentle Hush of Dusk. The last rays of the sun, soft and amber-hued, rested gently upon the leaves of the small potted herbs on Arden's balcony. The air held the day's lingering warmth, a comforting embrace that settled around her as she offered a final watering to the thirsty basil and mint. A gentle stirring of air, carrying the faint sweetness of honeysuckle from a nearby vine, brushed against her cheek. As the light began its gradual retreat, painting the sky in watercolor washes of soft rose and lavender, a quiet anticipation settled within Arden. The sounds of day, once a cheerful chorus, now softened into a murmur, a gentle lullaby as the world prepared for rest. A feeling of peaceful expectation began to unfold within her, a quiet pull toward the familiar tranquility of the Whispering Meadow. With a gentle push, the balcony door slid closed behind her, the sound a soft, reassuring click in the quietening evening. Her footsteps, light and unhurried, moved along the path towards the edge of town. The crunch of small stones beneath her sandals offered a rhythmic counterpoint to the soft whisper of the breeze through the trees lining the lane. The air felt increasingly gentle against her skin, a subtle coolness beginning to weave its way through the lingering warmth of the day. She noticed the way the fading light softened the edges of everything, blurring the sharp lines of fences and buildings into gentle silhouettes. A sense of easing, of a natural slowing down, accompanied her steps. The path beneath her feet transitioned from hard-packed stone to the yielding softness of earth. Each footfall felt grounded, a gentle connection to the steady presence of the earth beneath. The sounds around her continued to soften the distant sound of laughter, now a mere whisper, the occasional chirp of a bird settling into its evening nest. She experienced a sense of her own breathing becoming deeper, slower, mirroring the calming rhythm of the dusk around her. The subtle fragrance of damp earth rose from the path, mingling with the lingering sweetness of the honeysuckle, creating a tapestry of gentle scents. The meadow felt like a familiar embrace, an unspoken invitation to slow down, to simply be. The tall grasses, swaying softly in the gentle breeze, offered a visual balm, their movements fluid and unhurried. The colors of the wildflowers, though muted in the fading light, held a gentle vibrancy, soft yellows and pale blues dotting the landscape like scattered jewels. Nestled against the sturdy trunk of an old oak, the rough texture of the bark felt grounding against her back. The evening air, cool and soft, seemed to carry away any lingering tension held within her shoulders. A quiet sense of arrival settled over her, a feeling of being exactly where she was meant to be. The first faint sparkles began to emerge in the deepening twilight, tiny points of soft, inviting light dancing above the swaying grasses. Their appearance was gentle, hesitant at first, like whispers of light in the gathering dusk. A feeling of quiet wonder began to stir within her, a gentle anticipation for the night's silent spectacle. The meadow held a quiet stillness, a sense of peace that seemed to seep into her very being. As the last vestiges of daylight faded and the gentle dance of the fireflies began to unfold, Arden felt a profound sense of calm, a quiet settling into the peaceful embrace of the approaching night. Chapter 2. Footfalls on Soft Earth. The boundary between the path and the meadow softened as Arden stepped onto the yielding earth. The sensation underfoot was immediately different, a gentle give that welcomed her weight. Each step felt cushioned, a quiet yielding to her presence. The small sounds of the path, the crisp crunch of pebbles faded, replaced by the almost silent brushing of grass against her ankles. She moved further into the meadow, her pace unhurried, each movement flowing smoothly into the next. The tall grasses, now shimmering faintly in the nascent moonlight, swayed gently around her, their tips brushing softly against her skin. It felt like wading through a calm, green sea. With each step deeper into the meadow, a sense of enclosure began to gently form around her. The tall grasses created a soft, natural boundary, a comforting sense of being held within the stillness. The outside world seemed to recede, its sounds and concerns fading into the tranquil backdrop of the evening. She noticed the subtle variations in the terrain beneath her feet, a slightly damp patch where the stream trickled nearby, a patch of softer earth beneath a cluster of wildflowers. Each subtle shift registered as a gentle sensation, grounding her in the present moment. The air around her felt alive with the quiet hum of the approaching night. The chirping of crickets intensified, their rhythmic calls a soothing, constant presence. Interspersed were the softer, higher-pitched sounds of other nocturnal insects, creating a layered symphony of gentle sounds. Reaching the base of the old oak, she felt for a comfortable spot amongst the roots. The exposed wood felt warm from the day's sun, its surface a tapestry of textures, smooth in some places, rough and furrowed in others. She settled against it, the sturdy trunk offering a reassuring sense of support. Her breathing felt naturally deeper here, the air itself seeming cleaner and calmer. The scent of the earth, now richer and more pronounced, mingled with the delicate fragrance of the nearby wildflowers. It was a comforting and familiar aroma, one that spoke of peace and stillness. She shifted her position slightly, feeling the soft give of the earth beneath her. The blades of grass tickled her ankles, a gentle and almost imperceptible sensation. She allowed herself to settle fully into the space, her body softening into a state of quiet repose. Closing her eyes for a moment, she focused on the subtle sounds around her, the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze above, the distant murmur of the stream, the persistent chirping of the crickets. Each sound was soft, non-intrusive, contributing to the overall sense of tranquility. Opening her eyes again, she gazed out across the darkening meadow. The fireflies were becoming more numerous now, their gentle lights flickering with increasing frequency. A sense of profound peace settled over her, a feeling of being deeply connected to the quiet beauty of the natural world, embraced by the gentle hush of the evening. Chapter 3. The first sparkles emerge. At first, the lights were few and far between, hesitant flickers in the growing darkness. They appeared like tiny, fleeting thoughts of light, winking into existence and then disappearing just as quickly. Arden observed these initial sparks with a sense of gentle curiosity, her gaze soft and unfocused, allowing her eyes to drift across the expanse of the meadow. One tiny light would appear near the base of a clump of grass, glowing with a soft, almost ethereal luminescence for a moment, before fading away. Then another would blink into existence further out, a solitary beacon in the deepening twilight. There was a delicate randomness to their appearance, a gentle spontaneity that felt natural and unhurried. The quality of the light itself was remarkable, not bright or sharp, but possessing a soft, inviting glow. It was a gentle luminescence, like miniature stars that had drifted down to earth, carrying a sense of peace and tranquility with them. Arden felt a quiet sense of wonder watching these nascent sparks, a feeling of witnessing something magical and serene unfolding. As the minutes passed, the frequency of the lights began to subtly increase. More fireflies joined the silent dance, their tiny sparks appearing with slightly more confidence, their glows lingering for a fraction longer. The meadow began to feel increasingly enchanted, as if a veil of gentle starlight was being slowly lowered over the landscape. Arden noticed the way the soft light illuminated the tips of the grasses around her, creating fleeting halos of luminescence. The subtle movement of the swaying grass, now highlighted by the firefly's glow, became more visible, adding another layer to the visual tapestry of the meadow at night. She felt a gentle stillness settle deeper within her as she continued to observe. There was no demand for her attention, no urgency in the unfolding scene. It was a moment for quiet observation, for simply being present with the gradual emergence of this natural wonder. Closing her eyes briefly, she could still sense the soft flickers of light through her eyelids, a gentle warmth that registered even in the absence of direct sight. This subtle sensation added to the overall feeling of peace and serenity, a soft and pervasive presence. Opening her eyes again, the meadow now held a scattering of these gentle lights, like a constellation fallen to earth. Each tiny spark seemed to possess its own unique rhythm, some glowing steadily, others pulsing with a gentle beat. There was no harshness, no jarring flashes, only a continuous and soothing display of soft light. She imagined the fireflies communicating through their gentle glows, a silent language of light and presence. It was a thought that brought a sense of connection, a feeling of being part of this quiet nocturnal world, sharing in its gentle rhythms. The air felt calm and still around her. The only movement, the gentle sway of the grasses and the soft, mesmerizing flicker of the fireflies' lights. A feeling of profound peace enveloped Arden, a quiet joy in witnessing this slow, beautiful unfolding of the night. Chapter 4. A Silent Symphony of Light. As darkness deepened, the meadow transformed into a breathtaking spectacle of gentle light. The fireflies, now numbering in the hundreds, moved with a newfound confidence, their soft glows weaving intricate patterns across the landscape. It was a silent symphony, a ballet of luminescence performed under the vast expanse of the night sky. Their movements were fluid and graceful, not jerky or abrupt. They drifted and circled, rose and dipped, their paths intersecting and diverging in a seemingly random yet perfectly harmonious dance. Arden watched with a sense of quiet fascination, her gaze following the individual lights as they traced their fleeting arcs through the air. The intensity of the display created an ethereal glow over the meadow. The tall grasses, illuminated by the soft, flickering lights, seemed to shimmer and pulse with a gentle energy. The dark shapes of the trees surrounding the meadow were softened by this ambient light, their silhouettes appearing less stark and more inviting. Arden noticed subtle variations in the fireflies' glows. Some emitted a steady, unwavering light, while others pulsed gently, their luminescence ebbing and flowing like a soft breath. This variation added depth and texture to the visual experience, creating a more nuanced and captivating display. She imagined the silent communication occurring between these tiny creatures, a language spoken in light and movement. It was a comforting thought, a reminder of the interconnectedness of the natural world, even in the stillness of the night. The air itself seemed to shimmer with the collective light of the fireflies. It was a subtle effect, a gentle diffusion of the soft glows, creating a sense of enchantment and wonder. Arden felt enveloped by this gentle luminescence, as if the meadow itself was breathing with soft, radiant light. Closing her eyes briefly, she could still perceive the rhythmic flickering, a gentle pulse against her eyelids. It was a soothing sensation, a reminder of the vibrant life surrounding her, even in the quiet darkness. This inner perception added another layer to her experience, a subtle connection to the pulse of the night. Opening her eyes again, she focused on the patterns of their flight. Some fireflies traced slow, languid circles, while others darted in short, swift bursts of light. The overall effect was one of graceful chaos, a beautiful and mesmerizing randomness that held its own unique order. There was no sound accompanying this spectacle, save for the gentle chirping of crickets and the soft whisper of the breeze. This absence of jarring noise allowed Arden to fully immerse herself in the visual beauty of the fireflies' dance, her senses attuned to the subtle nuances of light and movement. A deep sense of peace settled over her, a feeling of being utterly present in this magical moment. The silent symphony of light played on, a gentle and mesmerizing display that invited a quiet surrender to the beauty and tranquility of the night. Chapter 5. Whispers of the Night. The visual spectacle of the fireflies continued, but now Arden's attention began to gently drift towards the subtle soundscape of the night. The air was filled with a delicate chorus, a soft symphony of nocturnal sounds that harmonized with the silent dance of light. It was a tapestry woven from the gentle whispers of the natural world. The dominant sound was the continuous chirping of crickets, a steady rhythmic pulse that underpinned the other, more subtle noises. Their calls were insistent, yet soothing, a familiar nighttime melody that spoke of summer evenings and quiet stillness. The sound wrapped around her, a comforting and consistent presence. Interspersed within the cricket's chorus were the higher-pitched, delicate calls of katydids. Their songs were softer, more melodic, a gentle counterpoint to the steady chirping. It was as if two distinct voices were engaged in a peaceful conversation, their sounds blending seamlessly in the tranquil air. From further away, Arden could discern the soft, intermittent hoot of an owl. Each call was deep and resonant, a brief but powerful utterance that carried through the stillness of the night. The owl's call added a touch of wildness to the otherwise gentle soundscape, a reminder of the creatures moving through the darkness beyond the meadow. The leaves in the trees above rustled softly in the gentle breeze. It was a whisper of movement, a sibilant sound that ebbed and flowed with the subtle shifts in the air. The rustling was not forceful or loud, but rather a delicate sighing, a gentle murmur that contributed to the overall sense of peace. Closer by, near the edge of the meadow, Arden could hear the faint, gurgling sound of the small stream. The water trickled over stones and around roots, its movement creating a gentle, liquid melody. It was a soothing, almost hypnotic sound, a constant reminder of the natural flow of things. She closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the sounds to fully envelop her. The chorus of crickets and katydids formed a background hum, while the owl's occasional hoot punctuated the stillness. The rustling leaves and the murmuring stream added layers of texture and depth to the auditory experience. Even the silence between the sounds felt significant. The brief pauses allowed each individual sound to stand out, to be appreciated in its own right. These moments of quiet were not empty, but rather filled with a sense of peaceful anticipation, a gentle holding of breath before the next sound emerged. Arden noticed her own breathing, soft and even, becoming another part of the night's gentle symphony. The sound of her inhales and exhales was quiet and rhythmic, mirroring the peaceful cadence of the world around her. She felt a deep connection to the natural rhythms of the night, her own being in harmony with the stillness and the subtle sounds. Opening her eyes again, the fireflies continued their silent dance, their visual spectacle now perfectly complemented by the gentle whispers of the night. The combination of the soft light and the soothing sounds created a profound sense of calm and well-being, a feeling of being held within the peaceful embrace of a natural world. Chapter 6. The Quiet Departure of Night. A subtle shift began to occur in the meadow, an almost imperceptible transition as the night began its slow surrender to the approaching dawn. The deep indigo of the sky started to soften, hints of a lighter hue appearing on the eastern horizon, a promise of the returning sun. The air, still cool and gentle, carried a faint sense of anticipation, a quiet expectancy for the new day. The fireflies, their dance having reached its peak intensity, began to gradually diminish their display. The once constant flickering slowed, the individual lights appearing less frequently, their glows perhaps a touch less bright. It was a gentle fading, a gradual recession of their luminous presence, as if they were slowly tucking themselves away for the coming day. Arden observed this subtle shift with a sense of peaceful acceptance, recognizing the natural cycle of the night's magic yielding to the light of dawn. The chorus of nocturnal sounds also began a subtle diminuendo. The chirping of the crickets, once a constant hum, became less insistent, their rhythmic calls spaced further apart. The katydids' melodic songs softened, their voices gradually fading into the overall quiet. The night's symphony was slowly drawing to a close, its gentle melodies receding into the stillness. A soft, ethereal glow began to emanate from the eastern horizon, a pale luminescence that gradually spread across the sky. The shapes of the trees surrounding the meadow, previously silhouetted against the dark sky, began to emerge with more clarity, their forms gently illuminated by the nascent light. The landscape was slowly being revealed, its familiar features returning with the approaching dawn. Arden felt a sense of quiet contentment settling within her, a feeling of peaceful completion after witnessing the beauty of the night. The meadow felt like a sanctuary, a place of quiet refuge where she had been able to find solace and connection with the natural world. The lingering tranquility of the night permeated her being, a sense of calm that she knew she would carry with her into the new day. She noticed the subtle details of her surroundings, with a renewed clarity in the soft pre-dawn light. The blades of grass, still damp with dew, shimmered faintly. The wildflowers, their muted colors barely visible in the darkness, now revealed their delicate hues, soft yellows, pale blues, gentle purples. The world was awakening, slowly stretching and unfurling in the gentle light. A light breeze stirred through the meadow, carrying the fresh scent of damp earth and awakening blossoms. The air felt clean and invigorating, a gentle contrast to the still, quiet air of the deeper night. It was a refreshing sensation, a subtle invitation to embrace the energy of the coming day. Standing slowly, Arden felt a sense of groundedness and ease within her body. The earth beneath her feet felt solid and supportive. She stretched gently, her movements slow and deliberate, acknowledging the stillness that still lingered within her while welcoming the gentle stirrings of the morning. The quiet of the meadow still held sway, but the whispers of the coming day were becoming more apparent. Looking out across the meadow, she saw the last few fireflies blinking their gentle farewell, their lights fading almost imperceptibly into the growing light. Their magical display was concluding, leaving behind a sense of wonder and peaceful gratitude. The meadow, bathed in the soft pre-dawn glow, felt serene and welcoming, ready for the new day to unfold. With a final lingering gaze at the tranquil scene, Arden began to slowly make her way back along the path. The quiet beauty of the night, the silent symphony of light and sound, and the gentle transition towards dawn had left her feeling refreshed, grounded, and filled with a profound sense of peace, ready to carry the tranquility of the Whispering Meadow into the awakening world. The memories of the fireflies' slow dance would remain, a gentle reminder of the quiet beauty that exists in the stillness of the night.